Hi again, class. Welcome to math. And like every math class, we're going to start with an I can statement. Here it is. Today in math, I can sort shapes by their defining attributes. And if you watched my first video, you know what defining attributes are. And if you haven't, I suggest you watch it because we're going to be talking about defining attributes, and it's important that you know what defining attributes are. So I read it one time. Let's read it together the second time. Today in math, I can sort shapes by their defining attributes. So I have a little shape party happening here. Don't mind my shape party. And they're all sort of in one big group all together here. But today we're going to talk about sorting shapes. And I'm going to write that word up here. Sort. I'll say the word sort. And you say it. I'll say sort. Sort. And then you say. Great. Sort means to put something into different groups or to organize something in a certain way. You sort it. And I've seen kids in the classroom sort Legos. I've seen them sort some coins from the box of currency. Kids like to sort shells and put them in different groups. When you sort something, you put them in groups, usually how the things are alike in a way. So today we're going to sort these shapes by their defining attributes. And if you remember, the defining attributes of shapes are their sides and corners. And also, if you remember from the last video, the number of sides is the same as the number of corners when we're talking about a shape. So we're going to sort these shapes by their defining attributes, and we're going to sort them by sides. So we're going to move them around and put them into groups according to the number of sides that they have. So I'm going to sort these shapes first because you can think about why I might be doing these. Take a minute and think about it. Okay, I'm getting these circles together because they all have the same number of sides, and that number is 0. And I put all these different colored circles together because even if a circle is yellow or red, they still have 0 sides. It still has 0 sides. If a circle is large or small, it's still a circle and it still has 0 sides. So I'm putting them all together like that. Now I'm going to sort these shapes over here. And you might remember that those shapes are called triangles. So here they go, and they're all going over here. And those shapes are all together because they have the same number of sides. That number is 3. Each of these has 3 sides. Even if it's small or large, it still has 3 sides. Doesn't matter if it's blue, red, or yellow. Still 3 sides for a triangle. Now, this is such a fun part for me because I love putting the squares and rectangles together in one group. What do you think about that? Do you think they belong together? You might think they do. You might think they don't. Hey, I'm missing a few rectangles. They didn't get their invitation to the party. Here they are. Woo! Okay. They do all belong together because they have the same number of sides as well. It's 4 sides. Even though they're different shapes, let's look at these two right there. They're different shapes, but they still have 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here, square. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they both both rectangles and squares belong in the same group together if you're sorting by sides. So I'm going to label our groups, and I'm going to say sort by sides. And I'm going to label this as 0 sides, 3 sides, and this group here, 4 sides. Well, the interesting thing about sorting by sides is you can easily switch it and then just sort by corners. So, I'm just going to do this, watch. See you later. Sort by corners. Do I have to change my groups at all? Think about my question for a minute. Do I have to change my groups? I don't have to change my groups at all because it's still the same attributes, defining attributes for each of these shapes. So let's erase this because that's old. That's the sides. So now let's think about corners. How many corners does a circle have? It has 0 corners. Doesn't matter if it's a big circle, small, maybe the circle's yellow or blue or red. It's still a circle. Could be this circle right here. Here's a guest star circle. A giant circle. It still has 0 sides. 0 sides. And how about these triangles? Oops. 0 corners. Sorry about that. Corners. I made a mistake. Is it okay if I made a mistake? Yep. That's how we learn. We make mistakes. Okay, 0 corners. That's what I meant. How about over here with our triangles? How many corners on each triangle? If you remember from last time, I'm just going to do this again very quickly so you can see the corners are right here. There are the corners. Looks like we have 3 corners on a triangle. And they all have 3 corners. It doesn't matter if it's a large triangle, if it's a small triangle. It still has 3 corners. 3 corners. Pretty neat, huh? 3 corners. Just like it had 3 sides, it has 3 corners. And the same thing goes for the squares and the rectangles grouped together. 3. Whoops. I made a mistake. 4 corners. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're counting on a piece of paper with a picture, I really recommend you make a little mark so you don't count it twice on accident. 1, 2, 3, 4. That way you don't go back and count this one again, because then you count 5 and it's incorrect. So you want to count. Make a little mark when you count your corners or your sides. So I'm going to mark 4 corners. I'm going to do one more sort. And this is an interesting sort because our groups are going to change just a little bit. I'm going to sort by shape. So, some groups will change and some will not. Will this group change if I'm sorting by shape? No, it won't, because the group has only circles in it. How about this group? Will this group change if I'm sorting by shape? Nope, because it only has triangles in it. How about this group down here at the bottom? Will that group change if I'm sorting by shape? It will change. This will become two different groups if I'm sorting by shape. One group will be rectangles and another group will be squares. So let's put my rectangles over here and my squares on this side. The reason they don't go together anymore is because we're not sorting by side or by corner, we're sorting by shape. So I'm going to label this rectangles, and I'm going to label this as well squares. They're all the same type of shape together in each of these groups. I sorted these by shape. So that's what it's like to sort by defining attributes. We sorted by sides, we sorted by corners, and then we sorted by shape. Even though shape sort of is a defining attribute, I suppose. So I want to ask, were you able to sort shapes by their defining attributes? We did. We did sort some shapes by their defining attributes. And those attributes were the sides, the corners, and for the last sort, by shape. Okay, I'll see you in class tomorrow or on Monday. Have a good night.